y'all. I just finished this video from, I think it's Blunt Girly. And so I know y'all know I'm a Scorpio moon, but I'm an Aries sun. So blunt, that's you speaking my language. And I'm not sure of her background 100%, but I'm pretty sure she's Black American. Um, and I just saw her latest video. I've kind of touched on this a couple times, like when it came to the propaganda against Americans and a couple other videos I've kind of brushed on this topic. But I am genuinely fed up with other areas of the diaspora. And like I said in one of my last videos, it's mostly Africans, even if it's not necessarily like 100% African, like British blacks, like you're basically African. You're just an immigrant. You know what I mean? So it's mostly certain groups of people, certain countries that have this disdain. And I'm going to break it down for you. She basically said that, and it's a great video, you should go watch it, but she basically said that it was like a disdain towards Black Americans. And I'm going to break it down even more. It's a little bit of both, but dissected, if that makes sense. It's not just they're upset that we're Black in America. It's that we aren't actual Americans. That's what pisses them off, that we can claim our country. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people, not just Africans. I've seen white people who think that they're, oh, Black Lives Matter. But then when I say some shit like, oh, I love my country. I'm a nationalist. I love my country. Or I tell them who I would vote for. Then they tell me that I can't do that because I'm Black. Like, what? So that's always something that's irked me. And I do consider myself a patriot. I've always loved my country. I think every country has their own different things to be proud of and not so proud of. But if the Germans are good and they can be proud of their country, you're not going to tell me as a Black American that I can't be proud of my fucking country. You know? Because what's that Nicki Minaj verse? You ain't put me in no bands, but I see you proud of me. You know? Because it's one of those things where it's like, you come to America because this is supposed to be a place where you can have opportunity, but you don't want the people that built this opportunity for you to be proud of themselves. And I think a lot of other Black diasporas outside of America, they like snicker and mumble and cackle when it comes to the quote unquote ghetto Black community. They try to, now sometimes it's just the media and this is all that they know, but they specifically try to emphasize like some of the lazier Black people in the community and stuff because they don't want to acknowledge that we're the ones that made this pathway for them. And I've always heard something like, oh, well, y'all just have so much opportunity. Same thing with Nara Noneswa. She wasn't saying anything about that girl personally. You're just mad that she lives, and I don't even think she's American. I'm pretty sure she's German. I'm sure she's proud of where she's from. But you're not even mad that this person is like richer than you. You're just mad that they have a certain opportunity. Because if you wanted to move to America and start a business, you could. Or you could go to America, start a business, come back to Africa and be rich in Africa. But that's not what you're really upset about. You're upset of this person's opportunity based off where they're from. And a lot of people like to treat Black people like all our history of slavery and opportunities in America are simply just because we're in America and we're too lazy to take a hold of the opportunities. This is why when other foreign people of color come here, they look down on us because they think, well, you're in a land of opportunity and you're lazy. You know what I mean? But you don't understand. What are the reasons why you have that? And I even related this to gender in the last video to basically say it's not always 100% like race where this type of stuff happens. People be mad at feminists and sex workers and OF girls and stuff. And some of that stuff can be a little, crazy. But do you not understand that if this wasn't a freedom, you wouldn't even have the right to speak on it? Like the Just Pearly Things girl, the white lady. If everything was how it was in the 1920s, bitch, you couldn't even have a YouTube channel. So it's like, it's one of those things where it's like, how dare you shit on the people who fought for these rights for you to even have an opinion on the shit? That's the shit that irks me. So I just find it very just annoying, honestly. And I've noticed it's usually certain areas of the diaspora. You know what I mean? And I'm really fed up with it. I even think when I don't know whose channel it was, but I know Exoticals United shouted them out. And she basically said that a lot of the people that be talking about this colorism stuff are Africans. You know? So, I don't know. I just find all that shit really weird. And again, I'm going to try to break down some stuff on why I think this is happening, because I don't think anyone is specifically to blame for this. Everyone has played a role in this. It takes two to tango. But there is a disdain towards African Americans being proud to be Americans. Most definitely. Yeah, so it's just a pattern of people that are refugees, immigrants, migrants who have this fixation on trying to tell someone they can't be proud of where they're from, you know? And I find that, again, this is not all African people. There are plenty of people who really just don't give a shit about this type of stuff and don't overthink it. But I feel like there's the same amount of people that go out their way. And I know some of like the first generation African Americans, they'll say things like, and I'm not discrediting this experience, it's, we all had, regardless of what you look like, where you're from, we all had our own experiences with colorism and racism. So there's like the whole African butt thing, I scratcher, the people used to say fucked up shit. And that's like their excuse sometimes. But I've noticed a lot of this stuff is from people that were either travelers, and maybe their family is from like all over. They're like the only family, like when it comes to their immediate family, that's in a certain country, whereas the rest of their family is all in another country or mixed up in other countries. Those are usually the people that have like a problem. I've noticed that like second and third generation Africans, they've already pretty much integrated with the culture. Stuff like when I think about Somalians and Somalis, they really don't mess with us if it's not business. When I think about other Arabic people that own stores, they might not like some of us, think some of us are thieves or something, but for the most part, they really don't be bothering Black Americans all like that. Usually the Africans that have something to say about Black Americans is people that literally just came here and there's like, they have a disdain towards us, or people that's not even really here, never even been to America, like Onezwa. So I've noticed that that's like the trend when it comes to stuff like that. Or Africans that are convinced that they're Black Americans, like Cleopatra, who said, "Oh, I'm African American." And I guess you are, because that's how Americans are. We Americans are kind of like Black people. Once you're born here, you're here. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of other places really don't do that. It's more about like your tribe and your bloodline versus just where you were born. But as Americans, we're very accepting. Once you're born on American soil, you're American. And in the Black community, if you're not white and you're a person of color, you're Black. So we're very accepting. And I think that's the second part I want to get on, is Black people basically asked for this. And I think at one period of time, Black Americans really idolized Africa and thought it was like the homeland and the motherland and all this other shit. But there are certain areas in history where I always knew that was like, that's not how I personally feel. One of these instances was Malcolm X. I don't know if you guys know a lot about his story. I'm Black American, so I know everything. But his, and I'm not accusing nobody of nothing, but the same shit happened with Michael Jackson. They started doing security with African people and people from the Nation of Islam instead of Black Americans, and they died. So I don't know. I just feel like Black Americans, we would just be assuming if someone's from Africa or someone has skin like us, that they're, we have a saying for that: all skin folk and kinfolk. So I don't know. It's one of those things where some people just don't care. They be on that, we was kings, and they just assume that we're all African. And then we have the other group of Black people who are like, no, I'm Solani, I'm a native Black, this is my country. So it's just, I don't know. It's a lot of shit going on. But I think thanks to the Hoteps, the divestors, and the people handing out N-word passes, other races of all backgrounds have thought that it was okay to disrespect Black American culture whilst benefiting from it and everything that we've worked for in this country. And I think it's going to be something that people have to do on both ends. I think Black people can be very parasitic with other people's cultures when it comes to Cleopatra and, all these other... I think when it comes to Black people, it's more spiritual, because in America, we were forced to identify with the Bible. And a lot of people consider that a white man's religion, which is a story for a whole nother day. So we took solace in knowing about the Orishas and knowing about Ifa and all these African traditions, because we thought it was going to be like home. And I think both parties have to like stop feeding off of each other and just... I'm not saying we can't have unity, but I think to do that, we need to respect ourselves and respect each other's cultures and traditions. And that takes the first step in doing that. You would have to acknowledge who you are. And I think a lot of Black Americans have not been doing that. So who am I to even tell other groups of people, hey, don't say the N-word. Hey, why are you at a HBCU if you're actually blah, 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 blah. Like, who are we to even tell these people not to? And it's the same thing like with exoticals, like in the Black community. People feel like exoticals come and take, the space or whatever. But who are we to, as Black Americans, who are we to even tell these people not to come sit on our culture when we're making a way for them? Because we're so ashamed of ourselves that we have to wear waist beads and there's nothing wrong with that. That's your culture. There's nothing wrong with that. But we have to do certain things just to feel connected to something. And the first step is loving your own culture, not listening to people that say, oh, you don't have a culture, da 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 da. So I really enjoyed Blunt Girlie's video. I just wanted to make like my own little rant about it because I have kind of touched on it a couple times. But yeah, I'm a proud American. And some people think because I'm a woman, I can't be proud to be an American. Because I'm Black, I can't be proud to be an American. Fuck all that. Like this is my country. This is everything I know. This is my holy land. I know you got the Mecca, but this is my shit. This is where my people bled. You know what I mean? So I think a lot of people assume that exoticals can't be pro-Black, and it's just a lot of fucked up shit. So I don't know, y'all. This is just really pretty much like a rant, but I wanted to make that very clear that I am a proud American, and no one's going to take that away from me. And everyone should be allowed to be proud of where they're from. And I noticed that when it comes to Black Americans, we're the only people, and sometimes just Americans in general. I know, like, white people, I've heard a lot of stories about white men feeling like a lot of people hate them now because, like, oh, you're colonizers, oh, fuck all white American men, da 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 da. So I know they've been feeling that too. But yeah, this is just my personal opinion, you guys, and I wanted to share how I felt about it, just to make that clear, because I don't support that. I don't support anybody picking on anybody's culture at all. So thank you so much for watching this video and listening to my little rant, and have a beautiful day.